This is the Final Lap Weekly.
All right, this is the Final Lap Weekly, and this is the segment we are doing on YouTube. We figured, hey, we're going to talk about Bristol. We might as well record this with video. That's Toby there. I'm Kerry. If you've never seen us before, this is probably freaking you out.
Whoa! What is this?
Listen to us. They don't, look at us unless they went back into some of the old stuff that we've done, but on YouTube. Yes, the old, really old archives. But here we are in 2021. We're trying this new thing called YouTube out again, and we're trying this whole recording thing. Let's get into it. I'm excited. Are you excited? Bristol on the dirt this weekend.
Woo! It's gonna be different.
We have been waiting for this for decades.
They've had us in a cage and poking us and prodding us, and now we're ready. They've opened the door. We've been let loose. We're foaming at the mouth, just like our favorite NASCAR fans.
So Bristol, the world's fastest half mile, they've dumped a bunch of dirt on the place over the last few months. Have you been watching the progress of this?
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch. I've been documenting it pretty well, actually.
Well, I know you are, Mr. NASCAR over there at TobyChristie.com and all that stuff, but I'm just making conversation here.
Okay, man. Sorry.
All right, world's fastest half mile. It's like fighter jets in a gymnasium, although it's probably a little less so this weekend. I think we're still going to see the beating and banging that we're used to. It's the Coliseum of NASCAR. I'm guessing they're going to have fans, but not 160,000, which the place holds, right?
Yeah, I think we're looking at, 30,000 or so, I think is what they said.
That's not bad.
No, not a bad turnout.
Still has that massive HD display that I'm just waiting for the cables to break and fall.
Yeah, it just still feels like a bad idea. It really does.
It really does. I would not park under that.
Yeah, I'm no engineer, but when I look at it, I don't think that seems like something I want to be walking under.
I just think the posts, the 4 posts that are holding it at some point, are just going to fold in and the whole thing's going to crash. And
bad news. That would be a bad day.
And they're going to blame me. They're going
to be like, well, Kerry called it. It was his fault.
Right.
He probably went over there and those beans in himself.
All right, let's break down some stats, and then we'll get into some particulars of this race, race number 7 of 36 on a 0.533 mile oval. Banking, it's still there under the dirt at 28 degrees, although it might be more because they've added kind of. I don't know how that
leveled
works.
It out some, so there's not as much banking, but still.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's totally confusing then. This is equidistant, despite what some fans might say. Toby, 650 feet, backstretch, front stretch. There you go.
Boom.
Still stages on the table there, 75 laps, and the final one ends at 250. So it's, 500 laps. Oh, I see how that works. 500 laps for the whole race, 266.
No.
None of this is correct.
No.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that's not right.
Because that's too many. That
would be a lot.
Mind-numbing.
250 is already going to be a lot for a dirt track. So, yeah, we're looking at 250 laps.
And we don't have any previous year's winners because this is the first time this thing is happening on the dirt. Check out all the action Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, although I asked Siri, and she says 80% rain on Sunday.
Ooh, well, hopefully she's wrong.
Yeah, not good. Maybe I should ask.
Don't tell me that.
And see if maybe they'll duke it out over the Bristol weather.
That'd be fun.
By the way, Truck Series also running on the dirt under the lights, though, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And so besides the dirt, what's different about this place? What's different about this particular race because of the dirt?
Well, because of the dirt, you're going to have guys that can possibly elevate their equipment past what you're expecting to see. So a guy like J.J. Yaley, who has a lot of dirt experience, could take a car that's usually about a 38th place car at Rick Ware Racing and could possibly finish top 20, top 25. If things get really crazy, you see a big pileup in there, you can see J.J. Yaley or somebody like that in the top 15. But we don't know. We'll have to see how big of an equalizer the dirt really is with the equipment. But when you put a thing where it takes driver skill and driver experience on a certain discipline, you tend to expect that the drivers that have the experience in that discipline will rise to the top, or at least rise closer to the top with the equipment they're afforded. So I expect guys like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, who has shown a decent amount of ability on the dirt, to be able to do well. Bubba Wallace has won a Eldora dirt truck race before. So there's quite a few guys that could challenge Kyle Larson. I know we're talking about him being the favorite, and a lot of people have pretty much already given him the award and the trophy without running the race. But just like last week, you got to run them all, and you got to run every lap, and weird things can happen. People can come to life out of nowhere, and I'm not awarding the win of this thing to anybody just yet.
I hadn't thought about the lower tier guys that have dirt experience rising to the top. That's a great point you make.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. I mean, this is a thing that you're not going to know until this thing happens. And if they all go into turn one, lap one, they stuff it in there, and 30 of them pile up, who knows what the hell is going to happen at that point. So there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out on Sunday. And to try to already give the trophy away on a few days before the race is probably a bad idea. So,
well, I think to that point, I think that's why there's so many cup drivers in the truck race. Check out this list: Kevin Harvick, Daniel Suarez, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Newman, Kyle Larson, and Martin Truex Jr. Those guys are going to be ahead of the competition because they're going to head off into turn one a day earlier.
Yeah, that's true. They're going to have an idea of what a NASCAR-style stock car, even though it's a truck in this case, will do on this track. There's going to be a lot of guys who won't, though, and that might complicate things. So it'll be interesting. They'll, of course, have some heat races before the race starts to kind of get their legs under them a little bit as well. But man, it's going to be wild. There's a chance that this thing could be the biggest S show we've ever seen in NASCAR history, and there's a chance it's going to be the best show we've ever seen. So, chances are it falls somewhere in between all of that, but there's a lot of possibilities.
I think there's going to be criticism on both sides of the spectrum. All right, so there will be practice sessions for this weekend, like we kind of alluded to. There will be qualifying races for 15-lap heat races, so to speak, to determine the starting lineup. There will be no live pit stops. That's going to be bizarre, only during breaks and stages.
Yeah, people are freaking out about one lug nut. Now they're going to be really freaking out. What? We can't change positions during the cautions and stuff?
Right. And I guess they couldn't figure out how to paint the orange arrow on the dirt, so no choose rule, which is kind of weird, isn't it, where it was born?
We could just put a cone. That's how it works.
Well, they didn't like that idea. So only the leader is going to have the option of lane.
Of course, the style of racing that rule came from,
right?
We won't be using it. Yes, that makes sense.
That was the first thing I was scratching my head to.
Perfect sense.
Yes, let's take some of the things that made dirt and put it in cup, and then take it away when we go to the dirt.
Right. Of course. Makes sense.
I don't know. All right. All
totally
eyes,
logical.
Of course, are going to be on Kyle Larson. Of course, Christopher Bell is on that list. You mentioned a bunch. I think the cup drivers that are in the truck race are going to have a leg up. It's going to be a wild, wild situation this weekend. I hate to even ask the question, but who do you like?
Well, you mentioned Bell. That's interesting, too, because he already has a win, just like Larson at this point in the season. These two guys who are very specialized on this form of racing can kind of let it all hang out. So even if they do crash, if they are involved in something, it's okay. They've got a win in their back pocket.
Yeah.
So these two, I expect to kind of leave it all out there. I don't expect them to – they're either going to bring back a trophy or the steering wheel, one of the two. And, Christopher Bell, he hasn't run a lot of dirt in the last year just because he was focusing on his Cup rookie season last year. But every time he runs side by side with Larson on these things, more often than not, Bell wins. So that's something to look forward to as well. This could be a fun little rivalry we have with Larson and Bell that continues on the dirt. So maybe we should look out for that too.
I think those are the two guys to watch, in all honesty. I mean, they just have a leg up on the competition of this style of racing. They already know these cars. It's not going to take them long to figure out the two together. Those are the guys. I mean, if you're doing fantasy racing, which we're going to hear from Rowdy Dragon in just a bit, I'm sure one or both are on his list. So
yeah, the only problem for these guys at this point, once they get to the actual race, is the length of the race and how many lap cars they're going to be coming up on throughout the whole race.
Right.
A lot of opportunities for something to go wrong.
It's going to be crazy, and I can't wait to talk about it, and it's going to be nuts. And wow, good stuff. All right, that does it for our little Bristol preview, both on the Final Lap Weekly as well as YouTube's. So thanks for joining us there, and we'll see you next time here on YouTube. And coming up next, we've got Rowdy Dragon with your fantasy picks for Bristol on the dirt on TFLW.